1.
One of the strangest things ever listed on eBay was a jar that someone claimed contained an actual ghost.
Yes, a real invisible floating spirit sealed inside a glass jar like homemade pickle. The seller explained that a ghost hunter had trapped this angry spirit during a paranormal investigation and passed it on to them.
The listing warned buyers that opening the jar could set the ghost free, which honestly sounds like the worst unboxing experience in history. Even more shocking, people actually bid on it.
Some buyers were curious and others probably just wanted a spooky roommate.
eBay eventually removed the listing because they do not allow the sale of intangible items.
That did not stop thousands of people from sharing it and laughing at the idea of a ghost being delivered by mail.
Just imagine the postal worker being completely unaware of the supernatural cargo they are carrying. 2. Someone once found a Dorito chip shaped like the Pope's ceremonial hat and decided it deserved to be sold like a sacred artifact. Most people eat their snacks without thinking twice, but this person saw a holy opportunity in a corn chip. The listing described it as blessed by coincidence and gluten.
Bidders showed surprising interest, probably because weird food shapes have become a global hobby.
Some wanted to preserve it, while others likely planned to brag about owning a religiously fashionable nacho.
The seller even included the story of finding it during a late-night snack attack that suddenly felt like divine intervention.
eBay eventually pulled the listing because they do not allow the sale of food items that are not packaged or safe for consumption.
Still, the Pope hat chip became internet famous and proved that if your snack looks unusual, someone somewhere might actually want it. 3. A fan once sold a piece of gum that Britney Spears had allegedly chewed and spat out during an event.
This was not a collectible figure or a signed CD. This was used gum that had already lived a full life between her teeth. The listing described it as a rare celebrity DNA souvenir, which already sounds concerning. Even more shocking, the bidding reached thousands of dollars. Some people wanted it as a bragging item while others believed it might increase in value over time. eBay eventually removed the listing due to biological hazard concerns, which is absolutely the right decision. The entire situation showed how far fandom can go when someone wants a physical connection to a celebrity. It also raised the question of what exactly buyers plan to do with old gum.
Display it in a glass case or pray it never starts smelling.
4.
One seller claimed to have auctioned of their own soul, which immediately caused chaos because souls are a tricky item to mail.
The listing described the soul as slightly used and free from major damage.
It also said there were no refunds, which makes sense because once you buy a soul, the deal should probably be permanent. People placed bids mostly as a joke, but the listing still became viral. eBay had to shut it down because they do not allow the sale of intangible items or anything that suggests a legal or supernatural contract.
It sparked online discussions about what a soul would even be valued at. The seller later said they were doing it for attention and to see if anyone would actually consider buying something completely unprovable.
It remains one of the weirdest examples of human creativity mixed with boredom and internet freedom.
5.
A pair of sisters once found a cornflake shaped like the state of Illinois and decided it deserved a place on the auction stage. They placed the flake gently in a small protective box like it was an ancient relic.
Bidders showed real enthusiasm.
One person claimed it would be the perfect addition to a geographical cereal museum, which is a sentence no one expects to hear. The bidding climbed high until a serious collector bought it for hundreds of dollars.
The new owner planned to display it alongside other unusual food items. The story became national news because who expects a random breakfast flake to become a celebrity? eBay eventually allowed the sale because the cornflake arrived in a protective form. The whole situation shows that anything can become valuable if it looks unusual and vaguely resembles a map. Breakfast has never been so dramatic. 6.
A grilled cheese sandwich with a burn mark resembling the Virgin Mary became a global sensation when someone listed it for auction.
The seller claimed the sandwich had stayed mold-free for years, which was almost as strange as the image itself.
It sat inside a small baggie like a holy relic of lunch. Bidders from around the world joined the auction because people love mysterious food appearances.
Some believed it was a miracle while others wanted it purely for internet fame. The sandwich ended up selling for thousands of dollars. The buyer said they planned to preserve it and keep it on display.
Even though eBay discourages the sale of perishable items, this one slipped through since the sandwich was already ancient. It became one of the most iconic strange listings ever.
This grilled cheese proved that a simple snack can become newsworthy and strangely spiritual. 7. Someone once claimed their rubber duck was haunted, and instead of calling a priest, they called eBay. According to the seller, the duck moved on its own during the night and caused mysterious splashes in the bathtub.
They said the toy made them uncomfortable and needed a new home.
The listing attracted buyers who love spooky collectibles and weird humor. Some people wanted to test the haunting while others saw it as the perfect gag gift. The listing described the duck as mischievous rather than dangerous, which added charm to the absurdity.
eBay removed the item because they do not allow the sale of intangible paranormal claims. Still, the internet loved the idea of a haunted bath toy trying to live its best ghostly life. It showed how a simple rubber duck can become legendary when combined with imagination and a platform that encourages creativity.
8. A farmer once discovered a potato that looked almost exactly like a human kidney.
Instead of cooking it, they photographed it like a celebrity and listed it online.
The listing noted that it was the closest you could get to owning an organ without breaking any laws.
This potato became unexpectedly popular, with bidders fighting over the chance to own this bizarrely shaped vegetable.
Some wanted it for comedy, while others saw it as a conversation starter. eBay had to step in because selling body parts, even potato-shaped ones, can confuse buyers. The listing was removed, but not before becoming an online sensation. The potato ended up getting more attention than most human kidneys receive in a lifetime.
It proved that vegetables can become famous if they look strange enough. This quirky listing reminded everyone that farming can be full of surprises. 9. One fan managed to get Justin Timberlake to sign a slice of toast during a backstage meet and greet. Instead of framing it privately, they placed the toast up for auction.
The listing described it as a breakfast collectible that combined carbs with celebrity fame. Bidders went wild because people love novelty items. Some hoped the toast would last forever, while others planned to display it in a shadow box like a museum piece.
The bidding climbed quickly until eBay decided to remove it due to perishable food rules. Still, the signed toast became a legendary joke among fans and internet communities. The idea of owning autographed bread is strange yet fascinating. It also proved celebrities should always be ready because fans can ask them to sign literally anything.
Justin probably did not expect his pen to meet a slice of toast that day. 10.
One seller claimed to have built a fully functional time machine using cardboard, tape, and scientific passion.
The listing came with bold instructions explaining how the buyer could travel to any year by sitting inside the box and believing very hard.
It also came with a disclaimer that results could vary depending on imagination. Bidders showed interest because the internet loves ridiculous inventions. Some buyers joked that they planned to use it to redo their past mistakes, while others said they wanted to send it to the future where cardboard might be more advanced.
eBay eventually removed the listing because it made supernatural claims and was not an actual working machine.
Still, the cardboard time machine became a meme.
It showed the creativity of people who want to mix DIY crafting with science fiction dreams. The cardboard construction itself looked surprisingly detailed. 11. A seller once decided to list their imaginary friend on eBay, describing him as a loyal but slightly mischievous companion who needed a new owner. The listing explained the imaginary friend's personality traits, hobbies, and the fact that he sometimes hid people's keys as a prank. Buyers loved the absurdity and began placing bids just to be part of the joke.
It became an instant internet sensation.
eBay eventually removed the listing because imaginary friends technically count as intangible items and cannot be shipped in a standard package.
Still, people loved the idea of someone trying to rehome a fictional companion like a second-hand toy.
The listing also sparked hilarious conversations about whether the imaginary friend would get jealous if the buyer had other imaginary companions.
It remains one of the funniest examples of how human creativity can turn anything into a sellable product.
12. A homeowner once claimed they discovered a piece of the moon lying in their backyard after a bright flash in the sky.
Instead of calling NASA, they called eBay.
The listing described the rock as extraterrestrial, shiny, and magical in an entirely non-scientific way. Bidders were amused and curious because space-related items always attract attention.
Some buyers joked that they wanted to own cosmic real estate, while others said they planned to use it to impress guests. Scientists quickly pointed out that moon rocks cannot legally be sold because they are government property.
eBay eventually removed the listing due to authenticity concerns. The rock was most likely just a normal Earth stone. But that did not stop people from dreaming. It showed how a simple backyard discovery can turn into a universal adventure when combined with enthusiasm and an active imagination. 13. A seller once offered a professionally written curse designed to make someone's enemy have a very bad day. The listing explained that the curse was harmless, funny, and purely for entertainment. It claimed the buyer would receive a printed certificate proving the curse had been activated by ancient comedy powers.
People began bidding because the idea of buying a packaged curse sounded both dramatic and hilarious. Some buyers wanted it as a joke gift, while others probably had specific names in mind. eBay removed the listing because supernatural services are not allowed. Still, the curse certificate went viral online and inspired memes.
The seller later said they received dozens of messages from people asking if they planned to sell blessings too. This entire situation proved that humor mixed with a touch of fake magic can turn a simple prank into a marketplace attraction. 14.
A concert attendee once noticed a celebrity's bodyguard leave behind half of a sandwich.
Instead of throwing it away, they bagged it like treasure and listed it on eBay. The listing described it as a unique piece of entertainment history that technically had a tiny connection to a famous person. Bidders found the whole thing hilarious because it was not even the celebrity's sandwich. It was the celebrity's hardworking security person's lunch.
Some buyers wanted it as a novelty, while others planned to frame it for comedic value.
eBay eventually stepped in and removed it due to food safety concerns. But by that time, the listing had already become a joke across social media. It demonstrated how far people will stretch a connection to fame when they want to turn ordinary leftovers into collectible art. The sandwich never expected such attention.
15.
One of the wildest eBay listings claimed to sell a sealed jar of air collected during a Beyoncé concert. The seller said they captured the atmosphere during a high-energy performance and sealed it instantly for maximum freshness. The listing described the jar as containing premium concert energy that could inspire anyone who opened it. Buyers found it hilarious and began bidding because the idea was both ridiculous and strangely tempting. Some joked they wanted to inhale motivation, while others planned to keep it as a conversation piece.
eBay removed the item because from events cannot be verified and does not meet any real product standards. Still, the concept went viral and became a running joke in fan communities.
It proved that people would try to sell anything if they think it has even the slightest connection to a superstar, even if it is just air.